This will be my third time doing the gauntlet on an account, but I figured I'd make a low-level gauntlet guide so that you can, I guess this is an all-level gauntlet guide, but optimized for low level so that if you want to try something or you find yourself struggling, you can maybe follow similar steps to what I'm doing to maybe do a little bit better. First rule of gauntlet, one of these 8 rooms, excluding the starting room, one of the 8 rooms around Hunlif will always have at least one room with 3 fishing spots. This room is probably that room. If that wasn't a 3 fishing spot, I almost always grab every single resource from the first room. But my typical tip is I'm doing a tier 2 armor. No matter what, if I walk into a room with a resource that I'm going to need to use, I will just grab that resource from the room as soon as I get in there. And there's a few reasons for it, but the primary one is just it gets me a lot of shards, and I know I'm going to need shards no matter what. And I can drop the resources back in the main room if I don't have enough to make something yet and I need more inventory space, but it's a lot more inconvenient to go back and re-grab all those resources. So I'm going to have enough for my first tier 1 armor, but I may not build it because my most important thing to build here is my weapon. Something else that's important to note is any big monsters that are not, so any of these two, any of the bigger general mobs, they will guarantee drop a weapon frame. The other scenario where you're guaranteed a weapon frame is from demi-bosses, and there's a third one, which is if there's a room with 3 monsters in it, one of those 3 monsters is guaranteed to drop a weapon frame. So if there's 3 rats or 3 spiders or anything else, they're guaranteed to get a weapon frame if you kill all 3. So you shouldn't have any trouble getting a weapon frame early. You'll see speedrunners try to skip a room if they don't get a weapon, if they don't get the big monsters or the scorpion in the first room. It's, I think, an inconvenient choice. And then, let's see. I have all of my materials except for I need one more Terrenium or whatever it's called. Corrupt Linum, Terrenum, whatever you call it. We'll just grab these 2. I probably should have checked that room as well to see if there's anything in there, but I didn't. So we'll just have to double back. I'm going to go down here, see what's in here, go open this room, and then go straight back to the main base. If this is a dragon, yeah, it is. Okay, then we will double back to grab the dragon. If it wasn't a dragon, then we would be going somewhere else after grabbing that linum. But because it is a dragon, we will grab it. So I have enough to build a staff. And for a low-level account, almost always I will recommend going for staff. Because the damage you do with the staff is built on... it's based on the staff's tier. It's not based on your level at all. Your accuracy is still affected by the level, but the damage itself comes from the staff's tier. So it's a lot easier to get damage off with the staff, especially during the prep phase, if you do it first. It's also really important for low level accounts. You need to have the staff in the final boss fight. Did he not drop anything? That's crazy. All right, so now I have enough materials to make my final tier 2 armor. You'll also notice I do grab 5 Grim Leaves. That's pretty high. Most people only grab 2 or 3. It's because the boss fight can last anywhere from 5 to 6 minutes. And so a 5 to 6 minute boss fight is an endurance fight, so I will need a lot more Agnial potions. Typically I try to have Agnial potions. I have 3 4-dose potions from the boss fight, so I can last through the whole thing. I don't need this anymore. We'll just go through here. We'll probably kill one more of these guys, just the scorpion, because it is 38 health, which is less than the unicorn, which I think has 44. And just grab that. We don't need the Grim Leaf anymore. I should have enough money to finish out as I start fishing. Let's see. So now we're going to check down here for anything special. And then any fish I see I'm going to start grabbing. So there's a ranged. So we kill a dark beast. My next goal is to get 12 fish from rooms that are not touching that Hunlif, although we already know where the 3 fishing spots are. So I just need to find 12 fish somewhere, and then I can go just north, yeah, it is north, north of the starting room and grab the remaining 12 fish. And I'll have a full inventory of fish, full tier 2 armor, and everything. There's 4 fish, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have weapon frames, so we're good there. 1, 2... And I did already upgrade my chest plate. The reason I did that is because it uses 2 of these resources and the same amount of shards, so it saves me a little bit of space in my inventory rather than having to drop them. do this and drop that and combine this potion. I can probably drop this as well. So I have enough space for a total of 12 fish in my inventory. We'll head back to base. We'll finish our armor, and that'll be 120. I won't have enough for the weapon. But what I can do is I can perfect this weapon, and we're just going to drop a couple fish here. We'll drop 5. And what I need is I need another 60 shards, and then I can complete this weapon, and I need another 12 fish. So I have enough space for 12 fish. Perfect. I have enough shards for my upgraded weapon. So at the end of this run, I will have tier 2 armor, 2 tier 3 weapons, and a full inventory of fish. I'm going to go ahead and decant these into 4-dose potions now. I screwed something up, didn't I? Oh, there we go. All right, now we can run back. Drop this. Upgrade this to super powerful bow. And then we have all the fish we need. We have everything. And I will be able to finish prep with a minute to spare. Sometimes it can be a little bit faster with prep, but with my current stats, which are in the 70s, sometimes some of my melees are in the 60s, the magic and ranged are 72 and 70 respectively, it's likely that I'm not going to be able to get much faster than this. I also don't have rigor or augury unlocked, so I'm kind of in a bit of a tough spot for speed runs, but by all means I can complete these runs no problem. So a couple things with the unlift mechanics you can take advantage of. You saw me, I pulled him away from the wall just by walking across the space here, so he was pulled just a little bit further. It gives me a little bit of room to run behind him if I need to. Another thing that's really interesting is you can run through tornadoes as long as you start running when they're 2 tiles away from you. You saw I just did that. If they're 2 or 1 tiles away from you, you can run right through the tornado and take no damage. There's another tornado mechanic where you can guaranteed run past them. The best way to describe it is if the tornado is on the same column as you, or the same row as you, it will run straight at you. If it's not on the same column or row as you, it will not change to your column or row until it's right next to you. So you can safely run right past the tornado knowing it's not going to hit you. And we'll try to showcase that on the next tornado phase here. You can see with my stats being so low, my max hit is lower, my accuracy is lower, and so this fight's going to be a little bit slower. So we'll do this. I'll just run right past this tornado, and you'll notice it doesn't hit me because I wasn't on the same column as it. And you'll also notice these tornadoes. No, you're not going to notice I ran away too late, but again, they will not change to the same column or row as you until they're right next to you, so you're a little bit safer. It's a little bit harder to do this though. Another important thing, if you don't have rigor or augury yet, it is absolutely imperative if you have low stats, or even if you have moderate stats, get an extra Grim Potion and pray Steel Skin throughout the whole fight. Steel Skin is a pretty huge increase in defense, 15%, which just means you're going to take damage, 10% less damage overall, maybe 15%, I don't know the full calculation. Your defense roll is 15% higher. And so what ends up happening is he will miss on occasion. Like right there I took a 0, which means I don't have to eat the food as often. So you can see because none of the tornadoes were on this column, I could safely run right through there and not feel like I'm going to get hit by it. A lot of times starting at the gauntlet, I'm really worried that they're going to take damage if they go anywhere near the tornadoes, and that's not true. Just knowing that you can run past a tornado no problem is really, really helpful for learning. Obviously, as well, my mechanics are pretty strong. I do still make mistakes. I've died 3 times in the gauntlet from silly mistakes, or I looked away while I was watching a YouTube video and then looked back and I was getting clapped by some tornadoes. But the general gist is just take your time, learn it. You're going to die as you learn it. That's okay. If you want to learn the mechanics of the boss a little bit better or play around with running through or running past tornadoes, I recommend getting tier 3 armor and going into regular gauntlet and learning the mechanics in regular gauntlet because you have a little bit more time to prep, so you can get more armor, you can guaranteed get the strongest armor. You'll also take less damage from the boss. It's just a little bit easier overall to learn. If you wanted to give it a shot and you don't think you're going to die, you just make some mistakes, I don't see any reason why you couldn't just start doing corrupted gauntlet right away. as time goes on, throughout this fight, you see I have these little highlighted tiles on the ground. Once his health gets below 333, or it's at or below 333, the tiles on the ground that damage you, they will not spawn on any of these 8 labeled tiles, these 8 marked tiles. And so this is specifically for the final phase, that if I want to have a little bit more of a relaxed time. In the final phase, I should try to find myself standing on those tiles as time goes on. His health is still not below 333. Like I said, because I am... Whoop, that was me taking damage I shouldn't have. That was a mistake. There we go, now we're at 300. So now, this is the last time that tile will ever have damage on it. You will also have one less tick to get out of the way of the tiles in this final phase. The first phase, I think, you have 6 ticks. And then the second phase, between 333 and 666 health, you have 5 ticks. And I think in this phase, 4. I might be wrong on that. It might be only 3. But regardless, you have even less time the later in phases you are against this boss to get off of the lava floor, is what we'll call it. I'm really not having good luck hitting him with any of my attacks. He's going to change tiles, and so am I at the same time. I'm sorry, there's not much else to say here. It's just we're finishing up the fight. As you can see, I did need to use almost all of that food. I have had fights for like 12 or even a little bit more food than that left. But for the most part, the lower your stats are, the longer this fight takes. You're pretty much always going to take the same amount of damage. If you have anywhere above, I think, 60 defense, you're going to always be taking damage throughout this fight. You'll take slightly less as your defense goes higher and higher. But the rate at which you take damage, the rate at which you consume food is going to be similar to mine. I usually say, on average, I think it's 4 food is a minute. So if you have 12 food, you should be able to reliably last 3 minutes in the fight against him. So I used almost all 24 of my food, and my Hunlift kill time was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So let's see what I get. And that's a whole run for you.